Our 1981 Variety Club honoree, Mr. Burt Reynolds.
Thank you, Frank. Look at that center table, and I really wouldn't want your job.
I don't think any of us here have to worry about that.
Hi, Nancy. Hi, Dutch. You changed agents, didn't you? Dutch and I have a lot in common. For one thing, we both played college football. I played football at Florida State. Dutch played at Eureka. Florida State's going to the Gator Bowl. Did Eureka get a bowl bid? And of course, we both made Westerns. I made 4 Westerns. Dutch made 4 Westerns. Cowboy from Brooklyn in 1938, Angel from Texas, Santa Fe Trail in 1940, and Cattle Queen of Montana in 1955. Hold it down. I was going to do a remake of Cattle Queen of Montana, but they wanted me to play the title role. In the early 1950s, Dutch went into television, hosting General Electric Theater and Death Valley Days. He parlayed 2 television series into a lot better job. I parlayed 2 terrible television series into another terrible television series. He then put in 8 years at the branch office in Sacramento before being called to the headquarters back east, where he works today. And I think we should thank God for that.
The International Children's Choir. They're from 50 different nations, and they're here to wish you, as all of us wish you, peace on earth. God bless you. Just beautiful. Thank you all. Thank you for a wonderful message. Thank you all. You know something? How would you like to take a trip with me to Geneva? I think you could do the job. You really could. Thank you.
Every hour of life has its own moment of truth. And who better to call it to our attention than the man who parted the Red Sea? Chuck Heston.
You know, when I got here tonight, I wasn't certain what to expect, except a great party, variety clubs, and Francis Albert kind of guarantee that. A party for the President and the First Lady on a first-name basis. It's a great idea, just like the old days. Actually, back at the Screen Actors Guild, it wasn't Dutch, it was Ron, or Ronnie to the old hands. I was new on the board then. We were in the middle of a tough strike, and he had appointed me to the negotiating team. I remember coming home very late one night after a long session, 4 a.m. Lydia woke up. Honey, I said, we've got a leader. Yeah, you could say that. That's what I was thinking about when I watched the two of them come into the room tonight. But they walk a road now that we can't possibly know, and they walk it for us. A little less than 5 years ago, in Washington at the ceremonies marking his first inauguration, I said, tomorrow at high noon, on the steps of the Capitol, one man will take in his hand the most awesome power and influence ever held by a single human being. He will be, thenceforth, forever wrapped in legend and myth. He will also pick up a burden of responsibility that has Jackson, Lincoln, Wilson, Roosevelt. With them, he will be linked to the very birth date of this republic. And so he has. So he has. So here we are tonight, his friends. We watch him laugh. We see Nancy's foot tap to the music. But we know, sir, you are us. To the world, you are America. Your yes is our yes. Your no is ours. You are every man and woman in this nation. You speak to mankind in our name. You carry the torch that was flamed by Patrick Henry's passion for liberty, Tom Paine's common sense, and Tom Jefferson's most uncommon wisdom. Lifted by the memory of those soldiers, known and unknown, whose bodies, in your words, lie in the only foreign soil this country occupies. The President. What do we pray for him? What do we wish from him and for him? What can he pledge to us? What can we say to help him? American writers have spoken eloquently to this question. Among them, Thomas Wolfe, William Faulkner, F. Scott Fitzgerald have said, it's a fabulous country. The only fabulous country where miracles can happen all the time. I refuse to accept the end of man. He will prevail because alone among all creatures, he has a soul, a spirit capable of compassion and endurance and sacrifice. In this country, there is a willingness of the heart. And as you lead us into the uncertain, beleaguered future, in the broad swell of continent between those shining seas, let me say for all of us, Mr. President, in the words of a song you'll remember, God shed his grace on thee.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I give you our friend, Dutch.
Well, it's good to be Dutch again. And it's wonderful to be surrounded by so many fine and talented friends. To paraphrase Jack Kennedy, there hasn't been so much talent assembled in one room since, well, since the last time that Monty Hall hosted Let's Make a Deal. Seriously, Nancy and I have watched these parties over the years, and we're thrilled to be a part of the good work of the Variety Clubs International. And something Lucy said last year applies to the way that I feel right now. Let's see if I can quote her accurately. To those of you who said such nice things about me tonight, I just wish you were all under oath. I wish you were all members of Congress. You know, when I first started in my present job, I'd sometimes put together in my mind my own dream cabinet. You know, John Wayne as Secretary of State, Clint Eastwood at Defense, Jack Benny as Secretary of Treasury, Groucho Marx at Education. But even presidents can't have everything. Except tonight, all of you here, well, you've really made my day. And as for all of you who are so generous in sharing your talents with us tonight, will you please stand up so that I can applaud you all once more? Come on. Those of you. Thank you. And Frank, old Blue Eyes, as always, you've been the perfect host. And voice rings just as pure and clear as ever for all of us guys and dolls who are still young at heart. Speaking of music, Steve and Edie, I like the songs you sang, not a clinker in the bunch. And Dean Martin, there you go again. Dean, I'm thrilled that you were able to be here tonight for Burt Reynolds' party. And sometime, if they ever have a party for Nancy and me, I hope you can make that one too. And Vin Scully, you brought back a lot of happy memories. And Monty Hall, the voice of variety clubs, thank you for your presentation. And Mike Frankovich, you share those words of gratitude. Everybody knows how devoted you are to variety. And Ben Vereen, you've danced your way into America's heart. And Emmanuel Lewis, we should never lose sight of what you said. Wait a minute. Even if sometimes we lose sight of you. Ah. Well, there you are, Manny. Right. And that was a lovely sentiment that was expressed by the International Children's Choir. And Chuck Heston, I knew you had leadership qualities when I saw you play Moses. You were eloquent and gracious in your remarks about that guard on the Eureka Varsity. Thank you. To all of you associated with the good work of variety, you have our eternal gratitude for arranging this party, for all the good work that you've done in your half a century of giving and caring for those who need our help the most, the innocent children of the world. Having my name associated with your good work, the University of Nebraska Medical Center will always have a special place in my heart. And I thank you all very much. And now, speaking for Nancy as well as myself, to all of you here and to all Americans everywhere, paraphrasing something that Moses said earlier, God shed his grace on each of thee. Thank you.
Well, Nancy and Dutch, as you leave to step once more into history, you go with our prayers and a song that says it all. May we have a bell tone, please? Should old acquaintance be forgotten and never brought to mind? Should